If you're looking to revamp and redo your resume, Claude Code with Claude Design can do it in about 10 minutes. And I'm going to show you my exact process that I did for my own resume to make it more appealing if I ever need to send it out in the future. To get us started, I asked Claude Code to generate me a fake docx resume that we can use as a starting point. But here's where people will go wrong. They'll take their resume and paste it in the Claude Cowork and say, please improve this resume without giving it clear goals or action items as to how it can actually do that. And if you did this, what would come back is a resume filled with a bunch of buzzword soup. Would it even be fitted towards your own skills and your work experience? Probably not. So I'm going to be showing you what you need to do instead to make your resume actually stand out amongst a sea of other people applying to places blindly. So in this video, I'm going to be showing you 4 different steps to really improve your resume. The first thing we're going to be doing is asking Claude Code to pull your resume apart and give you the best advice it can to how do you strengthen your resume to really help you stand out. So I'm going to paste in, pull my current resume apart and tell me honestly what's weak. The second step is I'm going to go and find real jobs where I can get a real description of where I'm trying to apply and paste that into my resume so I can get a fine-tuned resume with keywords that may match the description of the job. All right, so I'm going to grab this full description here and we're going to go back to Claude Code and we're going to paste in this description. I'll say job description and tags, paste this in. And then scrolling back to the top, I'm going to say, please make sure you use the job description so that you can fine tune my resume to really match this position best. Don't make stuff up, but try to strengthen what I already have on my resume so that it can better stand out if I were to apply to this place. Now for the third bullet point, what I would recommend doing is go through your resume. If it looks like you have a bunch of responsibilities listed out, maybe instead try to have it list out results. So like you scaled from 1 million users to 10 million users over the course of 2 years. Or maybe you worked on a system that helps ingest 2 terabytes of data over a short time period, right? So responsibilities are great. Like I helped lead a project or I was a developer building this, but adding some type of quantitative results can make the resume kind of look a little bit better than if you just said, I worked building out this system. So let's go back to bullet point 3. Make sure that you actually list out results instead of responsibilities. Like it's great to say that I was working as a developer building out X, but instead if you can actually highlight the fact that I helped improve the performance of a system by 20%, etc., these things can actually help be more useful. And for the 4th bullet point, what I'm going to say is I need you to go through and review the resume when you're done as a recruiter and then do another pass through to make sure you improve anything that you think would be necessary so that a recruiter would actually be interested in my resume over some other people's resumes. Okay, so do a little bit of role playing, have Claude Code or your agents act as another type of user so it can maybe engage differently with the resume you have. And then we can just go ahead and have it rewrite this resume for us at this point. Now, before I kick this off, I will say that using Claude Code and AI will not help you land the job. This is just the first step of getting your foot in the door, getting past the gatekeeping. You still have to know how to get in there and talk to people, have a personality, which is why I don't recommend making up or faking a resume because eventually you will be found out. They will know exactly what you do know or what you don't know in the interview. So this again is just to help spruce up your existing resume, not to fabricate anything. So we're going to kick this off and we'll come back and review the results against the original to see how much it actually improved it. And I'm also going to put a section there. When you actually improve my resume, I want you to list out the things that you improved from the old resume so I can understand how and why you made certain changes. So let's just kick this off. I am using Opus 4.8 High. I mean, you could probably use Fable if you really want to just burn tokens to get this to be as best as possible. But again, I'm just trying to show you the process that you can follow just to try to make your resume look a little bit better and have a set of patterns you can follow to make it good. Now, one thing that's worth pointing out is I told it to do this in 1 page. So if you want to have a 2-page resume, I think that's fine too. Usually if you have more experience, you've been in the industry for a decade or 2, I think it makes sense to have a longer resume. But if you are a kind of beginner, I would say keep it 1 page because you don't want to just add in a bunch of unnecessary fluff. You want to just get to the point. What exactly did you deliver at the company so that the recruiter and the HR systems can kind of go through and already see that. Now, some manual tweaks I would do is I don't like putting the technical skills at the top. What's most important is your professional experience, not the technical skills. So I would probably even put this at the bottom, maybe like underneath education. But I want to see what AI says before I just kind of blindly do that refactoring. Typically, I like putting the technical skills more towards the bottom so that professional experience and education is near the top. Do you recommend I do that? Or is it tradition that we put technical skills at the top? And Claude's response is that they would not expect a recruiter to see the professional experience below the technical skills. So I'm gonna ask it to basically refactor around a little bit to put the professional experience near the top. And then we'll come back and we'll compare this one to the other resume just to see like what it kind of changed. I like this a lot better. We got the summary, we have the professional experience, we have side projects, we have education and technical skills. Now, before we read through this, I do want to take you through the next phase of what I would recommend doing for your resume. Go to Claude Design. You can click Design down here, and that's going to load up Claude Design. We are going to actually drop in our resume, and they actually have a resume template. So let's just go ahead and click the resume template, and I'm going to grab this whole resume in here. I need you to improve this resume without changing the content inside of it. This is just a purely retheme, new font family, make it look nicer than what it is right now. If you do have to potentially go over to a second page, that's fine. I just don't want you to change any of the content. Okay, so we're going to kick this over Claude Design using Fable 5. Probably use a better model for this so that it has better results. And here is the retheme using Claude Design. You could probably spend more time going through here and like editing it and trying to make it look better, but honestly, unless you're a designer and you know exactly what you want, I'm not sure you'll know what to actually change. But this is by far looking much better than what we had over here. So sending something like this in on your job resume, it's just going to shine and outstand these other resumes that kind of look generic and no color, no theme, no anything. And especially in the day and age of AI, like doing this is so simple and cheap that you might as well just do it. Okay, so let's just go ahead and download this. I'm going to download this over here to a PDF, and we are going to put it side by side with the original resume. So on the left is the original resume, and on the right is the new improved resume with Claude Design and Claude Code rewriting some of the sentences. As you can tell, it's a lot cleaner on the right. And again, if a recruiter is trying to look through a lot of resumes every day, having it read clearly and look well designed is probably something that you want to do. Also, when these resumes are given off to engineers, they typically skim through them before they even do your interview. So that having a way for them to quickly parse through it is very, very beneficial on your behalf. Let's look through the main changes. I would say that the professional summary on the right still needs some improvement. I mean, it's still just listing off some like generic stuff like cut API latency 35%, scale features to 40,000 monthly active users. I think this one's pretty good to have in. Raise test coverage from 48 to 76. Like who cares with AI? You can just do that with like one prompt. So I think just scrolling down to the professional experience is probably where we should focus on. And again, you can tell that these are more like results based. So for the first one, cut average API response times 35% by profiling slow Postgres queries, adding targeted indexes, and introducing a Redis caching layer on a multi-tenant SaaS platform serving 40,000 monthly users. So this reads pretty good versus this over here, develop and maintain customer-facing features for a multi-tenant SaaS platform used by more than 40,000 monthly users. So, okay, so the one on the right definitely reads a little bit better and it seems just more impressive. Now, I'm not saying make this stuff up. Like if you're working your day job, I would recommend like having a separate document where you write down some wins that you do throughout the year so that in the future you can come back and spruce up your resume with real metrics of like, did you improve something? Did you help ship more features? Did you really solve a huge issue with your client or in your production system that could be useful to talk about? Those are things that I think are nice to put down that just kind of highlight your ambition or your skill set. Let's look at one more sentence. So built responsive web applications for small and mid-sized businesses, clients using React versus shipped responsive React applications for small and mid-sized businesses, clients delivering features across multiple concurrent client engagements. Okay, so again, Claude Code was able to add in a little bit nicer sounding words so that it sounds like you're more professional versus what was over here was kind of basic. And again, like it's reiterating React, JavaScript, CSS. Like we know that because in your skills down here, or I guess up here, it says HTML and CSS. So try not to overly repeat the things in your professional experience when I know for a fact that you already have that experience, right? Plus you said responsive web application. So I'm going to assume that JavaScript and CSS are already kind of part of that bundle, right? Now, if you look at the technical skills, I do like how it split it up into more categories and added some colors. It's just easier to read through here and be like, okay, is this guy more experienced in front end or back end or data? What exactly is this type of engineer? Versus this makes it a little bit more challenging to read through, like frameworks and data. You've mixed React with Postgres. So this on the right side, I think is much cleaner to read through. It's categories. I can tell from the get-go, okay, this guy works with Postgres. He knows how to do kind of optimizations and indexes, etc. All right, so that's all I wanted to cover in this video. Hopefully you guys learned something new. I showed you Claude Cowork to basically rewrite some of the sentences so that you can show results instead of responsibilities. I showed you how to use Claude Design just to improve the design of your resume. Just not to make it too flashy, but still it's easier to read through. You have nice typography. You have visual hierarchy, so it's easy to understand the different sections. Adding a little bit of color and a little bit of faint lines can make it easier to just kind of at a glance read through and find exactly what you're looking for. But like I mentioned, this is not going to 100% land you the job. There are so many different factors that go into finding a job. This is just part of it. So do try to make sure your resumes look more like on the right and read more on the right, and I think you're going to get a little bit better results. But overall, you guys can leave a comment below if there's any strategies you like to take when improving your resumes or trying to improve the chances that a company will reach back out to you for that actual insight interview or remote interview call. All right, that's about it. Have a good day and happy prompting.